I'm Dawn, and I would like to welcome you to my channel. Thanks for joining me again. I want to share with you a recipe that I absolutely love. It's called Souvlaki sandwiches. These are inspired by my childhood memory, which was going to a Greek restaurant in Seattle. It was a family-owned restaurant and they were wonderful. We absolutely love Greek food in our family, even though we obviously aren't Greek. These are the ingredients you will need for step one to marinate your meat. I have chicken. You could do certainly beef, lamb. You need oregano, and I use fresh, dried in a pinch, a white onion, a lemon, garlic cloves, and then of course your garlic press and your juicer. And then for the marinade, I use olive oil and red wine vinegar. So it's pretty healthy altogether. It's really simple. Let's get started. I am going to chop up my chicken. Now I used to skewer it. I'm just going to chop it up and show you how I marinate it before I skewer it. I've gone to this new way of doing it where I don't even skewer it. I just put it in a basket that can go on the grill. I'm just going to cut bite-sized pieces. It's just your choice what size you do. I'm going to do big enough, manageable to eat without a fork because this will be in a sandwich. So usually I do this in the morning. You can do it overnight, that's fine. I find if you leave chicken in a marinade, sometimes can start to cook it a little bit, or maybe not cook it, but maybe a little firm around the edges. So I would do overnight, or I would do the morning of. You certainly can do like an hour or two as well. I just like my chicken really tangy. I'm making enough for probably, I'd say 4 people. Though it's just my husband and myself for dinner. So I might freeze half of this for another night. Okay, so I'm gonna take the onion. I cut off the end. I take a little bit more than the paper because I find that first layer of onion is a little less firm. So I want to get a couple layers off personally. So I'm going to take the onion, and what I'm going for are nice big diced slices. So I want a big enough piece that I can marinate and skewer the onion. And again, you don't have to skewer. I certainly just pop it in a big basket for the grill these days. I personally love the onion when it is grilled. It gets a little bit sweet. So let's pop the chicken. We're gonna pop the chicken in the big bowl. And we're gonna throw all these onion pieces. And I'm just gonna kind of break them up a little bit so that they get marinated as well. And they become oh so delicious. Okay, break them up. This is a pretty good onion. It didn't make my eyes water. Sometimes onion, especially white onion, can really be brutal on my eyes. This one wasn't bad. I have puppies on either side of my feet down here. They love it when I cook. So in here, I have the chicken and I have the onion. Now I'm going to squeeze in the lemon juice. So I'm going to use a large lemon. Again, it all depends on how much protein you're marinating, but you're gonna basically want to make enough marinade to almost cover the protein and mix it in. I also go in and kind of move it around a little bit. I'll go in once or twice and kind of shake it up and make sure everything's getting equal time in the marinade. 1 lemon, and sometimes I use a couple lemon. This is a particularly big fat lemon, so I think I'll be okay. Probably wouldn't use a Meyer lemon. I have some really beautiful Meyer lemons, which I love in desserts and even some really nice salad dressings. I think you really want a good tang. So if you are kind of wondering which kind of lemon, I would use a normal, regular lemon. And then I'm going to chop up real quickly some oregano and throw that in. So I'm just going to take a couple of leaves. And this just adds so much flavor. Lots of flavor, big pop of flavor without a lot of any like salts and extra things. So I'm gonna take this and I guess can give it a fine chop real quick. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's just kind of gonna marinate, give some flavor over the next few hours. Again, the longer you can give this during the day, the better, but you don't have to. It's certainly optional. You can do this, I'd say a couple hours before dinner if you want as well. So there, I have the oregano in. Do garlic next. The order does not matter. If you're wondering, does it matter? It does not matter at all, as long as it all gets in the bowl. Sometimes I make the marinade first, but sometimes I like to put the chicken and the onions in first so I can really tell how much marinade I need to make, since I'm not really measuring. When I cook, I tend to freestyle a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna throw, I'm gonna use 2 garlic cloves. If you don't do well with garlic, you don't have to do garlic. Again, optional, but I want a little pout. For me, it was 2.5 rather good size garlic. All right, we have the lemon juice in there. So now I'm gonna put some olive oil in. I'm just basically throwing a little bit in for that marinade. And then I'm gonna do red wine vinegar. And I like to go heavy on the red wine vinegar and lemon personally. Again, it's more that personal taste, but I just find it has a good, nice flavor. Okay, I'm gonna grab a spoon, give it a quick mix. And then I'm gonna throw in a little bit of cracked pepper and just a dot of Himalayan salt. So in the pepper. I love fresh cracked pepper. Just a little. I think it looks fabulous. It's a good ratio to me. If it looks like a lot of onion to you, I'm telling you, once you taste how good they are and get a little charred and grilled, you'll, trust me, you want the onion in there. So I'm gonna cover this and I'm gonna pop it in the refrigerator, and I'll be back to show you the next steps of a souvlaki sandwich. Okay, the next step is to make a tzatziki sauce. Now, tzatziki sauce is really popular. You may have had it as a dip. It's really great with vegetables and pita bread. This is a topping to the sandwich, to the souvlaki sandwich. So I'm going to show you how I make it. There are various ways, but it's basically the same ingredients. You can use either Greek yogurt and a little bit of sour cream. I think I'm going to mix it up and do a little bit of both just to show you what you can do. But these are the ingredients you will need for your tzatziki sauce. We will be using a Greek yogurt, and I get a nice thick Greek yogurt. It's natural fat. It's a really good thing for you, Greek yogurt. If you go too low fat on your sour cream, which you'll also need, or your Greek yogurt, I find it tends to get a little too watery, too thin, and sometimes a little sweet. So I use just a really good brand of both my Greek yogurt, unflavored of course, and my sour cream. And then you will want a cucumber. I do English cucumbers sometimes. I have a normal cucumber today. And you will want fresh dill. You can use dry dill, but there's nothing like fresh dill. I just think it gives a lot more flavor. And you want olive oil and garlic. Okay, so let's make it up. So what we're gonna first do is open up our Greek yogurt. So delicious. And this is actually such a healthy dip or sauce to make, so I just love this. Okay, so we're going to take this and peel off. It often has a little top layer. You want to get rid of that just to keep it fresh. And oh, it's such a good, thick, creamy consistency. It's really a good yogurt. So I'm going to do, I'm making just enough for about 4 people, probably a good cup. And I'm going to throw in some sour cream. And I will put together a more formal recipe of amounts and post it. And if you have any questions, feel free to post. I kind of make it a little differently every time. It just depends on how many I am feeding. Let's throw some sour cream in it, just a nice tang. I feel like it gives a little bit of tang. So I have altogether maybe a cup and a half or a little bit more. So now I am going to chop up some of my fresh dill. In. And again, this is just to taste. Even if I put a recipe up, it really depends on how much you like these flavors. I am really a tangy person. I like a lot of flavor, a lot of herb, just a lot of flavor going on. If you like a little bit more of a mild flavor, that's fine. Throw that in. Okay, now that I have my Greek yogurt, an optional sour cream, and a bunch of fresh cut dill in the bowl, I'm gonna go in and grate some cucumber. And again, you can be kind of whatever cucumber you have around. So I'm gonna slice off the end and I'm just gonna grate it up. I love all the green color that this recipe gives you. At the holiday times, I think it's really pretty too because it's green and white. I throw in some fresh red peppers to scoop it up with my flatbread wedges, little fun dippers, and I just think it's so festive. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, so I'm gonna throw the cucumber in. I'm gonna take a good garlic clove. I'm going to dice it up real quick. I'll probably just use my garlic press because it's so quick and easy. And throw this in here. Fresh garlic, really optional how much you want to use. Because I do let this sit and permeate a little bit, I have found that if you go too strong on the garlic, it can get pretty pungent. So kind of up to you. If you're going to eat sooner than later, go for it. And then I'm going to throw in some olive oil. Just drizzle it in there, okay? So this is what we're working with. We have olive oil, the yogurt, we have a little bit of sour cream, cucumber, and dill. Now I'm just gonna throw a little bit of pepper and salt and mix it up. A pinch of salt, some nice fresh pepper. And then I'm just gonna take it and stir it up. It just smells so refreshing. The longer it sits in your refrigerator in the next couple hours as you're marinating it, yummier it gets. And then I will just take a little bit of olive oil and I will drizzle it. So if you are serving it as a dip, it just kind of looks pretty to do such. And throw a little sprig of dill on top. And a couple sprigs. There's your tzatziki sauce. So I'm gonna put that in the refrigerator with some plastic on it. I thought since I had a little extra time while the chicken is marinating and the tzatziki is kind of permeating, that I would show you something I like to serve on the side, but I also serve when I make lamb chops or just a number of other meals. It's one of our family favorites as well as far as potatoes go. So I thought I would just show you since I had the time. I would grab the following for this recipe. You would need mixed potatoes, little baby potatoes. I like all the colorful ones, but it doesn't have to be a certain color. I just like the variety. And then you'll want some oregano. I usually use fresh, but I have dried today. It really is fine either way. I'm gonna roast them. And a lemon and some garlic. And then I will use some olive oil and some pepper and salt. So I use Himalayan salt for this. Totally up to you. So I'm going to take some of these little potatoes and I am going to kind of make them bite size. I'm probably going to do quarters. That seems about right for these. It really depends on the potato I grab, but I'm going for about this size. So kind of edible. You don't want it to be awkward to pop in your mouth and you want it to be able to get a nice flavor in it. So I'm going to pop these in my microwave cooker. I can't tell you how often I use this. I steam broccoli, vegetables, potatoes. I heat up leftovers. Anyway, it's just a great little guy if you are looking for something that's microwave proof and good for steaming. So I'm going to keep cutting some potatoes. And I think kind of a fun thing with this dish, see now this one's a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to go a little bit smaller pieces. I think what's really fun about this dish is, to me, the lemon. I don't know if any of you out there are lemon fans like I am, but I love citrus, but I also do it sometimes with, like I was saying, lamb chops and a big Greek salad. So it's just a good little quick recipe to have top of mind when you have company or you want to grill. As you can see, I'm getting a nice, good variety of color, which I like. One thing again I like about this recipe, like I do the souvlaki sandwiches, is just how simple and natural the ingredients are. There's so much flavor and yet everything is rather healthy, easy, accessible. You can get it at your store and just so flavorful and so healthy. So I hope you love this too. There are two ways you can cook these. You can speed up the process by throwing a little bit of water in this dish, covering it up, and throw it in the microwave to start the steaming process to just soften the potatoes up a little bit, so when they go in the oven, it's a little less cooking time. Or you can throw them in as is. They certainly will cook really quickly as well. I decided to give it a little bit of a head start to show you how you can speed up the process a little bit. If you're cooking more on a weeknight or you just don't want to spend a long time roasting them, I'm just going to put a little bit of water in there. I just put maybe a quarter cup. You just want enough to get some steam going. And then I'm going to pop this in my microwave. So I'm just going to take my chicken and put it into the basket I have preheated. And we're just pretending it's a sunny day outside and we're grilling outside. It's really snowing a little bit. Oh my goodness, it's starting to smell amazing. If it looks like a lot of onion, just trust me, it will be amazing. You want to make sure that everything gets cooked evenly and that we get a little more color to the onion. Right now they're turning a little translucent, which means they're cooking. But we want to get a little bit of color in the onions and make sure that the chicken gets cooked through. So we're just going to let it sit and toss it every couple seconds and just let it do its thing. We certainly don't want it to be rare when we serve it, but make sure you don't overcook it. It becomes a little tough. So we're just about there. It's looking great. You can see the little bit of golden color. You can tell that the onions have gotten a little translucent. It looks good. Let's check a piece of chicken. You can follow me over to the cutting board. Okay, we're going to just cut into this piece. This is one of the bigger pieces, so if this is done, we should be good. Perfect. No longer pink or translucent inside. It's a nice solid white, and I certainly don't want to overcook it, so let's pull it out of the basket. We are good to go. Pull it off the heat. I'm gonna let it sit a second, and then I'm gonna pop it in the bowl and let it rest. The house smells amazing. So now that the chicken has been grilled with the onions, here is what it looks like. And then we have the tzatziki sauce that has been nicely permeating all of its flavors in the refrigerator. It didn't become runny and watery. If you put too much of the cucumber, sometimes it can get a little watery. So this is just perfect. It stayed nice and solid, just the way I want it. So I'm going to show you how to assemble your souvlaki sandwich. So first what you're going to do is take some fresh feta. I like it actually just freshly grated. I find it's a little bit thinner and then melts a little bit quicker. Just kind of gets soft. I take a half a chunk here, it's a little more manageable. I'm just gonna grate some feta here. Oh, it smells delicious. I don't know if you're like me, but I love goat cheeses, especially feta. Grates so easily too. Just watch your fingers, of course be careful. All right, so I have about that much, which is good for what I'm gonna show you right now. I'm gonna cut up a tomato. So I just do little wedges. I am going to cut in half, and then this one I'm gonna get probably 3 little wedges. And this one right here, and maybe one more. Some nice wedges. If you go too small, they start to fall apart, so don't make them too tiny. So we have tomatoes and feta. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take one of our amazing pieces of flatbread. I think it's worth spending a little extra. Sometimes the authentic is just a little bit more, but it's so worth it. You don't want a thin pita that will just become mushy and not have a lot of flavor. I'm just gonna warm up the flatbread real quickly. Do it, I just kind of like a little bit of warmth it adds, and it softens it up a little bit. So I'm just heating it up like I would a naan bread real quickly. I also like a little bit of that fire taste, a little roasted. The trick is to keep it moving. You don't want to burn one spot. That should be good. I'm gonna layer some chicken. When I watch shows, this is when I always wish I could reach through the screen and just grab some. It's so hard to see, but hopefully you do make this at home and you get to try these amazing flavors, and it's such a healthy, refreshing meal. It's definitely a top request in our house. So we grab some of our tzatziki and just grab a scoop of that. And then I'm just gonna kind of put it alongside of here. Okay. And then I'm going to put some feta on it to taste. There is no right or wrong. I love feta, so to me, the more the merrier. Then I'm gonna throw some tomato wedges in here. Just tuck them in. I'm gonna do 3. And it depends on the size of pita. This time they had littler pita. So this is what your souvlaki sandwich is gonna look like. You can do it any way you want. You can put the cheese down first, you can put the chicken, it just doesn't matter. And then you're gonna just fold it up. It's a very full one. So you fold it up, and there you have it. There is your souvlaki sandwich. I hope you make this at home and get to smell everything I'm smelling right now and enjoy. I'll be right back though, because the potatoes are just finishing up, and I'll show you what the little side potatoes look like with it as well. Oh, they smell delicious. Okay, so these are our herbed lemon potatoes. They have rosemary, parsley, and oregano, and salt and pepper, lemon juice, olive oil. They look delicious. Honestly, we kind of joke that this is just another vehicle in which you can get tzatziki sauce into your mouth. So, you just grab this hot pad. Oh, they look delicious. Lots of good garlic and lemon, all sorts of yummy flavors. So, my husband is helping me out on one of these cameras, and he is ready for this to be his, I'm pretty sure. And he deserves it. This is the way I like to eat my potatoes. A little dollop of tzatziki on top. So here is your chicken souvlaki sandwich and roasted potatoes. Enjoy and have fun in the kitchen. That's what it's all about.